for joining us today. We're just waiting for a few more people to come in. If you can, please rename yourself with your name and your organization so that we know who's in the room with us today. You can also say hi in the chat. That would be lovely.
It's
Hi, Julia. I see you on the chat. Nice to see you. Nice to see everyone here. All right, I think we have enough people to do our check-in. So we're doing things a little bit differently today. What I'll do is we will be assigned into small groups. And then within our groups, what we'll do is we will share a little bit about ourselves. So if you can share your name, where you're from, what you do and your organization. And then our fun question of the day is, what's one change or new practice you hope to see in the impact incubation world, and what makes that important for you? So you can focus on one just so that everybody has time to kind of share their own answer to this question. All right, so let me just prepare our rooms. And I will also be joining us here. So will Himakshi. All right. So you would be assigned a room. You can join and then you can discuss. We have 5 minutes for this. See you in a bit. Oops. Hi, for everybody who's joining us. We're just doing a quick check-in in the breakout room. So you'll just have to share your name, where you're from, what you do, and your organization. And then the question is, what's one change or new practice that you hope to see in the incubation world, and what makes that important to you? So let me just move you to a room, and then we can get started. I hope you see your assignments to the room and you join your breakout room. You should see a notification. Aditi, I gave you the link to the slides. I'll just check on room 2. I'll be right back. Hi, so if we're just doing a breakout activity, I'll put you into a room, no worries, so that you can join.
Thanks.
There you go. Bye. See you.
Bye.
Okay, I'm going to, I think I'll share the screen for the team. And then I will close the breakout rooms. Welcome back. I hope you all had a great time getting to know each other. I hope you got some insights and realizations from being in your breakout group. Hi, everyone. Just waiting for a few more people to come back. But while we wait for them to come back to our main room, maybe let's reflect on this question. If anybody is willing to share what insights or realizations came up for you during your small group sharing. So maybe it was something that somebody else said, built up from your realization or the insight that you brought, or something totally new from that you heard from today's check-in. So we want to hear from a few people. If you can raise your hand or unmute, please feel free. Again, welcome back to those who just came in from the breakout rooms. We just want to reflect on what everyone has shared during the check-in. Do you have any insights or realizations that came up for you during your small group sharing? Anyone is free to chime in. You can just unmute or raise your hand. Yeah, I see Julia. Julia, please.
Yeah, maybe I can go. I will be the vulnerable or brave one. So it's interesting because now there are so many people who see all the problems we have in this sector. What is a bit sad, to be honest, is that the problems were already there years ago. So I'm hoping that the changes we all want to see actually happen. And I'm wondering if now that it's very turbulent times, it's not really not great. We don't sit comfy. But because we have to find new ways of making these things happen, maybe it will push us to actually make these changes happen. So that's more a hope and a commitment to make the change happen. But yeah, I wouldn't say that there was anything very new in what we said, but there was also nothing I would disagree with.
Right. So really like turbulent times and just really like holding on to the hope that hopefully something does change in the next few, let's say months or even in the next year, right? Thanks so much, Julia. Thanks for sharing. Anybody who also agrees or resonates with what Julia said or wants to add on, please feel free. Or if you have any insights or realizations other than what Julia mentioned, feel free to do that. So I think Julia belongs from group 1, right? So maybe room 2, Kenny, Kennedy, Mercy, Paul, or Victoria, if you have any insights or realizations from your small group sharing, we'd love to hear it. I'm sure there was a lot, so you can pick one.
Hi, so if I can chime in.
Yes, go ahead, Petina.
You know, everyone in the room actually did have a wish, right? So to speak.
Right.
So it's a good thing that we're all thinking forward. We've all seen things that we'd want to impact, or we'd hope that the heaven, so to speak, could impact and create a change. I think we want to see sustainability. We want to see programs working better. We want to see actual return on investments. And we want to be able to support businesses to build, something that outlives everything else in terms of just creating impact and just growing out of the incubation acceleration space. Yeah, so those are my thoughts and kind of what I wanted to chime in.
Thanks so much, Penina. So really like long-term sustainability, long-term impact, really seeing those effects in a longer span of time uh, is something that I think we all hope for with impact incubation, right? So thank you so much for sharing that. I have one last call. I'd really love to hear from room 2. Kenny, Kennedy, Mercy. I see that some people said that their internet is not really good right now, so no worries. But if anybody from group 2 would like to chime in, maybe there's something there that they'd love to share from their insights or realizations, now would be a great time. So again, Kenny, Kennedy, Mercy, Paul, or Victoria, feel free. Yes. Kennedy, unmute.
Oh yeah, Penina almost preempted everything. Although everyone is looking forward to how this platform will help us make a lasting impact on the people we support. So even if we leave them on their own, they are able to replicate everything and support themselves for a longer term. Group 2, what we realize is it's majority are East Africans. And that is it. And we had a mix of Brazilian in Paul. So that was good. I think it's going to be a good learning, South American, East African, and so it's a good mix. So we are expectant and we hope to learn a lot today. Thanks.
Great. Thanks so much, Kennedy, for sharing. And it's great to hear. Yeah, I think, longer term impact also on who we support and making sure that it lasts, right? Like just what Penina mentioned also, I think is very great. So thank you so much for sharing that. And just to introduce maybe myself and also what Pollinate Impact is for maybe those who aren't familiar, but I see very familiar names. So I think everybody is familiar. So I'll make this really quick. Again, my name is Rod. I'm the community choreographer of Pollinate Impact. I'm based in Manila, and my main thing is helping Pollinate do these convenings where we get to connect. And today it's a very special one since we get to talk about our research agenda that is coming up for us in the next year or two. And what we really love is how we've taken a practitioner-focused approach in this, designed to strengthen the impact incubation industry across the global south. So with our Research Weaver Himakshi here, we'll walk through what this looks like and even introduce the topics that we are focusing on for the next 2 years. All right. So again, before we jump in, just a quick housekeeping reminder. If you haven't yet, if you could please rename yourself with your name and your organization. That way we all know who's in the room with us. And feel free to use the chat as you want so that you can introduce yourself and also get to know the people in the room. We'd love to see a very lively chat group here with us today. So yeah, so before we dive in, just really quickly, quick shout out to the members of the network here at Pollinate Impact. Aditi, if you can please bring up our slides. Just a quick second. And while we wait for that, I see most people they've renamed themselves. Thank you so much. All right, I think everybody has their organization right next to their name. That's awesome to see. Great. Thank you so much, Aditi. If you're not a member of Pollinate Impact yet, this is your sign. Join our buzzing community of impact incubators from across the global south. Members get a lot of benefits, including funding leads, proposal support, tools and shared resources, growth guidance for our senior management, and real connection with peers who get the kind of work that we do. So you'll see a QR code and a link on your screen, and we will as well put the link down below in the chat. So come join us because we'd love to have you as part of the community. Right. And then on the flip side, if you are already part of the membership in Pollinate Impact and you feel like it's helped you even just a little, maybe there's a funding lead that landed at the right time, a tool that made your life easier, or maybe a conversation that reminded you that you're not alone in this wild world of impact incubation, why not pass it on? You can refer a peer to join the Pollinate Impact Network and get 10% off your next annual membership fee. So all you have to do is share the link or scan the QR code. And again, we'll put the link in the chat below so we can keep growing this garden one good referral, one new bloom at a time. The next, of course, we are closing the year, but we have some exciting convenings already lined up for you for next year. And these are just two of them. So first is a members only session called the Pollinators Toolkit, Coaching SMEs from Invisible to Investable with ONOW's Day 2. So in this session, ONOW is introducing their Day 2 platform that shows us how everyday SME behavior, photos, chats, voice notes can transform into clean financial records and lender-ready signals. So this is a very exciting one and our first one for the year. So I hope you can join us. And then on February 11th, we have Seeds of Success, Reimagining Entrepreneur Support for Greater Impact in East Africa and Beyond. We know that across the Global South, as we realized today during the check-in that ESOs are navigating shifting markets, rising expectations, and tightening resources. And East Africa, of course, is no exception. So in partnership with WDI, or the William Davidson Institute, we have this session to take a closer look at the research behind reimagining the future of ESOs in East Africa, not just to surface the most urgent challenges, but also to explore evidence-backed recommendations on how we can move things forward. So what this means and what these findings means in terms of their own context. So excited to see all of you there. And thank you again for being here and bringing your energy. With that, let's get started with introducing our speaker for today. So I think most of you will be familiar with her already, but of course, I'll still give her the floor to introduce herself, what she does for the network, as well as our fun question for the day, which is, what is something that you've been on a rabbit hole? So for those who might not be familiar, when you're on a rabbit hole, that just means that you've been doing intense research and intense like looking at certain things because you're so interested in the topic. So I'd love to hear from Himakshi on what that is, and of course to introduce yourself. So Himakshi, please go ahead.
Thank you, Rod. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I'm Himakshi. I'm the Research Weaver with Pollinate Impact. And as Rod mentioned, Research Weaver is someone who is weaving the research for the organization, and not just for the organization. The aim is to actually have a very contextualized, grounded, and practitioner-focused research within the Global South. Because as we keep on hearing from the Global North, as well as people from the Global South who represent such organizations, who keep on voicing out their concerns that, you know, our voices are not heard. And we do not have contextualized solutions, we do not have contextualized evidence, and that is precisely what I'm trying to do, along with my amazing team members at Pollinate Impact. And to answer your question, Rod, a rabbit hole that I have dived into while researching is specifically on this topic that we're going to cover today. When I was trying to create the questionnaire for this research, I tried to look at multiple organizations' questionnaires. I tried to talk with multiple people, and it's sort of a rabbit hole to, you know, finally come to a point where I'm satisfied, where we, as an organization, we're satisfied that, okay, these are the right questions to ask, and these are appropriate ones, and these will get us the maximum grounded evidence that we require. So I think that's where I'm going to end with the introduction. And I hope to see an active session today. Lots of questions that I'm ready to answer. And let's get started.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Amakshi. It seems like the researchers really bled into your personal life and you've really found interesting things about it. So I'm really excited to hear more about it in our conversation today. So we will begin our conversation around this. And I guess what I'm excited to hear, Himakshi, is what does our practitioner-focused research agenda look like? And then what themes are we prioritizing for the next year or so at Pollinate Impact?
Right, right. So when we talk about a practitioner-focused research, we usually think about entrepreneurs and the entrepreneurial ecosystem as a linchpin, especially the social entrepreneurship ecosystem, right? The impact incubators and accelerators, they do such amazing and such foundational work for these social entrepreneurs, and yet they face certain challenges. They face challenges related to attracting and retaining quality talent. They face challenges related to diversifying their revenue streams to achieve financial sustainability. How can they strengthen their operations to scale the impact? Something that I was hearing Penina also say. On top of it, these are some systemic challenges that they face, and they cannot face these challenges alone. They cannot achieve the solutions to these challenges alone, and they specifically require some systemic shifts in the way we usually operate as an ecosystem. And to have that systemic shift at a scale, especially at the scale of the global south, it requires very strong evidence, a strong evidence that is grounded in the voices of these impact incubators and accelerators across the global south. So we are aiming to not leave any continent. We are not aiming to leave any particular organization in the global south, because we want to have very rich, very strong evidence, and we want to hear voices of as many ESOs as possible. And for the themes that we are proposing, we are trying to explore over the next few years, they include, first of all, the theme of financial sustainability and funding approaches. When we talk about financial sustainability, it includes how an organization be financially more sustainable. Can it become financially sustainable through diversification of resources? What are the issues that these organizations are facing? What is the landscape of donors? How can incubators and donors co-create? And what are these dynamics between incubators and donors? If we can find answers to these questions, if we can find evidence for these questions, I think these will be really, really helpful to further our cause and further the solution that we're looking for. One of the very interesting themes is also the quality, efficiency, and efficacy of the incubation. So when it comes to having the larger and on ground impact, finally seeing the impact being made through social entrepreneurs, it really requires effectiveness of our incubation programs to happen. How efficient are those programs? What is the actual cost of incubation? How does the future of incubation look like? And what are few best practices that incubators across the global south can implement? And moving on, there are other themes like synergies between impact incubators, how incubators connect with each other, what is the level of trust between these incubators, what is the value of networks of incubators and donors, and slowly and steadily building into what does the state of the impact incubation looks like in the global south. How diverse, how vibrant is the ecosystem of impact incubators in the global south? And all of this is aimed to finally arrive at how strong our incubation ecosystem is, and what governance structures are there, and if governance structures are improved, how will it impact not just incubators but also entrepreneurs? If there are succession plans among these impact incubators, what do salary and incentive structures look like? So over the next few years, we aim to explore these few themes, and I hope whatever voices we heard today, whatever changes and new practices that everyone in this session voiced, that, this is the change we want to see in the incubation ecosystem. This is the new practice that we want incubators to implement, is something that we are also trying to explore, something we are trying to create impact with. And yeah, so Rod, to answer your question,
Awesome.
these are the few things.
Thank you. Thanks, Himakshi. And I think this is very exciting. Like there are a few themes here that I think I'm really excited to read more about. And I'd like to hear from the participants too, if there are any from these that they're excited to learn more about from the five. If you had to choose one or two, which ones do you think you're excited to kind of explore? You can put it in the chat, let us know which ones. But for now, maybe Himakshi, my next question is there a theme that we're currently exploring? Why are we seeing excitement towards this theme as well?
Correct, absolutely. When we went out to ask our members, uh, we heard members talk about one thing. We heard researchers talk about the same thing. And being in the ecosystem, we kept noticing the same voices. We kept listening to other stakeholders talk about the same thing, the same issue. And the one theme that kept on echoing was money. And even specifically how to be more sustainable with their finances, how not to be dependent on grants, how to ensure that we have enough to survive any funding shocks. So when we kept on hearing these voices, that's when we began exploring financial sustainability through diversification of revenue streams. And we started digging in literature that is available, digging in researches that other organizations, other institutes have conducted. And we found that there are so many incubators across the globe that still rely on grants as their primary source of revenue. And if it's not their primary source of revenue, it makes up a significant percentage of their total revenue. And more incubators in the emerging markets are now generating their own revenue. And that to us was extremely interesting to see that incubators in the global south, they want to diversify their revenue because they see a potential of being financially more sustainable if they diversify their revenues. So that is where we started exploring gaps in the ecosystem, gaps in the evidence. And precisely that's why we are aiming to conduct a primary research on financial sustainability, specifically through diversification of revenue streams. And to conduct this research, there is a research team at Pollinate Impact, and just a quick shout out to our research advisory committee members here, Saurabh, Penina, and Kenny. Welcome all three of you. And yeah, I'm excited to see how the research unfolds, and I'm excited to see as many ESOs as possible participating in this research.
Great. Thanks so much. No, that's really interesting. I think this so far, all these findings are very interesting. And is there a way for members to explore what we found like more in detail? I know you've shared a little bit, but if they wanted to read it, do we have anything available for them?
Absolutely. So before we started to set out to do this primary research, we actually conducted a literature review on how the financial sustainability ecosystem looks like, how diverse are the revenue streams among incubators of the world. And we do have a literature review that everyone in the audience can actually read. We'll drop the link to you here in the chat, along with sharing this literature review after our session today.
Great. No, awesome. This is really exciting. I haven't finished reading it myself, but what I've found so far has been very interesting. And I think Himakshi has done a very good job in trying to kind of sift through what we found. And I think if we can build this up, right, Himakshi, like it'll be really great to hear what people have to say, maybe things that we can expound on and things like that. But this is really interesting. So I dropped it in the chat. If anybody wants to read it and save it already, it's there. Let us know, of course, if you have any insights or comments. Definitely something that we're open to. But for now, another question, Himakshi, if anybody wants to actively contribute, and I did see in the comment a few people who are already interested in some of our themes. how can they actively contribute to this research?
Right, very interesting question, Rod. And since we've been trying to have as many impact incubators and accelerators on board, I think if you are an impact incubator or an accelerator or both of them, and if you're currently running an active incubation or an acceleration program, and if you generate any non-grant revenues, along with the fact that you have last 5 years of your audited financial statements, I think you should join this research and you can participate in the pre-survey. And once we have your response on the pre-survey, we'll be happy to share a more comprehensive questionnaire that talks about your revenue streams, the diversity of the revenue streams that you have, how resilient your organization is, and how can it be more resilient and financially sustainable in the future. So yeah, this is how you all can join, and we'll again share the pre-survey link with everyone. And I hope to see as many of you as possible.
This is great. No, I'm really excited, and I hope everybody in this room, if you do fit this profile, that you join, because I think, research is only as good as, right, the data that we get, right, Himakshi? So I think if we get more data on this, we'll get clearer and more accurate findings. So the more participants, the more organizations we have, the better for the findings as well. So hopefully all of you join. I know Himakshi is going to be very happy. So yeah. I'm really excited for all of you to answer the survey. All right. So for those who are joining, right, Himakshi, like they are giving their time, their effort. Is there anything that they're getting from the research when they participate?
Absolutely, absolutely. So we have curated a list of benefits for all the organizations who participate. And one of the very good benefit that I personally like is that participants will receive a customized benchmarking scorecard. It will give you a sense of where you stand with respect to your peers in the same region, your peers in the same sector, and talk about how where your organization stands with respect to sustainability, how resilient your organization is based on the data you provide for your organization. Apart from that, the plan is to feature few best case studies who present the best financial models, most sustainable and most resilient financial models. So participants have a chance to be featured in the report as one of these case studies. And everyone who joins this research is going to have access to region and sector specific insights. Our aim is to analyze the data both regionally as well as sectorally, so that it makes sense for your organization. If you're, let's say, from South America and from clean tech sector, it will make sense to you. And as well as if you're from India and if you're from health tech sector, it will make sense for you as well. So having this regional and sector specific insight is going to be extremely helpful. All the participants have an open invitation to join our global potluck in 2026 in Manila and be recognized in Pollinate Impact's channel and gain global visibility, our wide and vibrant network of impact incubators, where you can be recognized and you will be acknowledged for participating in this research. And eventually, we all stand a chance to help the ecosystem support and policy and shape the policy in the ecosystem. So yeah, these are few benefits that the participants receive.
Great. No, this is amazing. I think I've been hearing how this benchmarking thing is something that a lot of organizations are interested in, just because then they get to see what they can improve on. And then as well as, getting featured, things like that, I think would be really great. Also connecting with others on best practices. So I hope this is a great motivation for the participants today to join and join us for the pre-survey. So fingers crossed.
I agree.
All right. Well, thank you, Himakshi, for sharing the agenda so far. I'm really excited to see what these insights are going to blossom into, how they're going to weave into where the network is also heading in the next few years. And for now, what we'd love to do, me and Himakshi, is to hear from you. And if you have any questions that you'd like to ask Himakshi about what she shared, maybe something that you're curious about. I don't know if you saw Himakshi, but in the comments, I see some people sharing some themes that they're already interested in. Cynthia and Letihage shared that they're keen on collaborations. Penny, Mercy, and Kennedy share that they're interested in quality, efficiency, and efficacy. So that's already great feedback.
Agreed. It's lovely to see there is so much alignment. And I think financial sustainability as a theme also is something that aligns with most of the people present here and to the larger ecosystem as well. So happy to answer any questions that anyone might have for this particular research or our research agenda more broadly.
Great. Anybody can raise their hand, or you can also chat if you are not able to unmute, but feel free. I see Kennedy is unmuted. Kennedy, please go ahead.
Oh, yes. I'm interested in the areas of quality, efficiency, efficacy, and all that. So I wanted to ask, as you explore on issues of quality, efficiency, and efficacy of the impact incubation, how will the research identify what truly drives effective incubation?
Exactly. Amazing question, Kennedy. And I really appreciate this question. And so far, when we have looked at the publicly available literature, both academic as well as gray literature, we have found that there are different definitions of effectiveness of incubation, what really makes your incubation program most efficient, most effective, and what ensures that it delivers the quality that it has. So based on all the academic literature, all the gray literature that is available, we will try to arrive at the most comprehensive definition for effectiveness and accordingly research on that. So the first step when we are trying to research primarily is to have a secondary base of evidence on what other organizations have said, what other organizations and authors and researchers have researched on, and what their definitions of effectiveness look like, to make sure that our definition of effectiveness and efficiency is as comprehensive as possible and is catering to all the sections of the global south. I hope that answers your question, though.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Thanks, Kennedy. I see Cynthia has a question, but I'd love to save this for last because it's the next steps. But if anybody has any questions apart from this one, I'd love to hear from you. So again, feel free to unmute or chat just like Cynthia.
Hi, Rude. Hi, Himakshi. Shreya
Hi,
this side from
Shreya.
NSRCell.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry I missed some bits of the beginning, but I think I just want to add that, as you know, at NSRCell, we incubate the largest number of founders every year in India. And I think it will be interesting to participate and see how we can contribute to whatever you are planning to do. um, to be honest, at NSRCell, because our focus is incubation, we've tried multiple times to set up research teams and do dedicated work because we have very interesting data, but sadly, we've just not been able to do that. And I think if we have someone leading the research, we would be just happy to participate and and be and to be able to contribute to this. We also celebrated 25 years of our existence, so we also have therefore experience and some interesting partners who we've worked with over the last so many years. And I think that should also be of some, help to you. Yeah.
Thank you, Shreya. It was really nice, and we would actually love to have NSRCL participate in this research because it really is about hearing more voices from the global south, and I think
Mm-hmm.
NSRCL has done an amazing job over the last few years, and we would love to hear what NSRCL has to say, and
Mm-hmm.
excited to see you on board. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Shreya. I have room for maybe one more question before we go to Cynthia's. If anybody has either questions or any insights, just like what Shreya shared, any comments that they'd love to share to the group before we head to our last question.
I just had a comment, Rod. I just want to
Yes,
hear
please, Paul.
views of people in this room around this particular research that we're doing around financial sustainability. We've heard that there are concerns around sharing financial data. And so I just wanted to hear the views of people in this group around that particular issue.
Sure. Thanks, Paul, for bringing this up. So yes, it is part of our call for today, like our poll that we'll bring up in a bit. But if anybody wants to give any insights to Paul's question around, sharing financial statements and things like that for research purposes, what are maybe things that you're concerned about if you do share these statements for research, or any thoughts or insights on this? We'd love to know. If anybody wants to share.
Right. If anyone has any concerns related to data sharing, how your data will be used, protected, and what sort of data are we demanding? If anyone has any concerns or questions around that, happy to answer.
I mean, I can quickly share some
Yes,
thoughts, but I believe, at least in India, most of the incubators are Section 8, and a lot of the funding that they receive, most of these you will find, and I think the incubators should be comfortable sharing this data, because you actually have to put this data out in public if someone asks you for. So, I mean, I would be interested to understand why would an incubator not be interested in sharing such data. Although, I mean, of course, you would go through documentation of data confidentiality and all of it before you start being part of this research. But I believe, I mean, for you to make this easy, you should just pick incubators who are actually comfortable sharing this data with you. And you have many incubators to pick from, because otherwise, I think it's going to get very difficult. Yes, there are incubators who may not be comfortable sharing for whatever reasons there may be. And then I think you should just pick those who are comfortable doing this.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And something that we are trying to balance, Shreya, is also needs and concerns of the participants, as well as needs of this particular research. So a lot of incubators sometimes are not comfortable sharing their financial information, especially if it's not publicly available. So that's why we are trying to strike that balance. But really happy to know that really happy to see you all positive for this particular research. Thanks, Shreya.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, Shreya. Anybody else who would want to share their thoughts on this? All right. If not for this one, you can always email us, contact us, chat us if you'd like to share your thoughts as well. Himakshi Kennedy had a follow-up question just really quickly on the effectiveness efficiency study. Will the study differentiate between elements that drive organizational efficiency? versus those that directly influence venture outcomes? So incubators like ours can better prioritize what to invest in.
Kennedy, it's an amazing question, great question. And while it's one of our themes to explore in the coming years, we haven't yet gotten to the place where we can concretely say that these are the elements that we are going to be definitely seeing. But as part of the primary research, whenever we do it 2 years, 3 years from now, over the coming years, I think your concern is absolutely valid, and we will try to incorporate as many elements as possible. And because the final eventual aim is to make incubators better at prioritizing where to invest and what to invest in. So absolutely, that is our final aim of the research. Any research that we do, it should be applicable and it should be useful to practitioners like you. So thank you so much for your question, but I would definitely want to answer this once we start to explore the quality, efficiency, and efficacy of incubation. Thanks,
I love
Ken.
it. Thank you too.
Thanks, Kennedy. And that's a great sign, Himakshi, that somebody's already very interested, right, Kennedy? Don't be surprised if Himakshi reaches out to you soon with some questions. So, but we're really glad to hear that you're really interested in this research. Definitely coming up soon. So, speaking of coming up soon, Himakshi, since we are at the top of the hour almost, Cynthia's question on what the steps forward are after the call for today. What does that look like for our research agenda for Pollinate Impact?
Correct. Thank you for asking this question, Cynthia. And this Ask Me Anything session was planned to answer any questions, any concerns that our participants might have with respect to this particular primary research on financial sustainability. And if your organization has already responded to the pre-survey, you'll be receiving a comprehensive survey questionnaire very soon, where you will be asked to respond to certain financial data and certain organizational data, and we'll take that forward from there. But how the steps have been laid out are, once the questionnaire has been responded to by the participants, we will conduct follow-up interviews just to get some qualitative insights that have been missed out on in the questionnaire, or to see if there was any missing information and to cover those missing information gaps from the questionnaire before we finally come to creating a final research report that we share with all the participants, of course. I hope that answers the next steps question for you, Cynthia.
Great. Thanks, Himakshi. And while we are writing down, sorry, Cynthia, I saw you unmute. You might have a follow-up.
No, it's okay. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thanks, Cynthia. All right, so I will be launching a really quick poll that Himakshi and I made to just understand, people's profiles here, and then also comfortability of sharing what we asked, what Paul was asking in terms of sharing financial statements. So if you could take a quick look at this poll, it's 4 questions, and answer it very quickly, that would be very helpful for us. And maybe while people are answering, Himakshi, I'd love to know what you're excited for next year in terms of the research. Like personally, what are you excited to see, or maybe what types of insights are you excited to explore in 2026? I know this is a new question. We didn't get to prepare for this. So, but yeah, I just wanted to know what you feel like you're excited for, especially at the start of the year for the research pillar.
Right, amazing question, Rod. Thank you so much for asking. And I think one thing that really excites me about coming years is having more research themes on board, because the aim of the entire research agenda is, in fact, to understand and deeply understand the ecosystem. And once we have a better understanding of the ecosystem, what works and what doesn't work, that's how we will be able to help impact incubators who are doing such phenomenal work, helping the social entrepreneurs, and finally make that impact reach the ground. So I am excited to see the diversity of incubators who come on board with our research. I'm excited to see the number of impact incubators and accelerators who think that their agendas and our agendas align with each other, and who actually want to see the difference in the global south. So yeah, and not just for 2026, I mean even for later. My excitement is regarding around all these themes that we listed, and I hope that we see more and more alignment, and I hope that more and more people join us in this research journey, which is going to be long, tough, but absolutely worthwhile. So yeah, that's what my excitement comes from.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. I'm really excited for this too. I think what you shared is definitely something I share or I resonate with because, in convenings, we've really tried to share best case practices, right, with our sessions and stuff. And I think where research comes in is looking at the wider zoomed out version of it. Like really, where do we see these bright spots? Where do we see rooms for improvement, and how do we do that with evidence to back us up? So I'm really excited to see that in the next coming years for our network, and then possibly really helping the global south improve its impact incubation industry. So I'm really glad that we're going on this journey together, and thank you so much everybody for answering the poll and for being with us today. But if anybody wants to share what they're excited for the next years or so for research at Pollinate Impact, we'd love to see the chat. You can also unmute. Yeah, very quickly if you want. Maybe our next 2 minutes. Anything you're excited about? Thanks, Dr. Hagi. Thank you. Have a great festive season as well. Happy holidays. We did get some comments here on why people are excited, so that's great. We have some feedback. Awesome. Well, if nothing yet, Cynthia's excited for the potluck. I hope to see you in Manila, Cynthia. Thanks, Penny. Happy holidays. Thank you, everybody, and really appreciate you all answering the poll. This is really great. Happy holidays. Shreya, thank you. Thanks for joining. And thank you again, everybody, and have a great rest of your week. Thank you. Thanks, Kennedy.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone. Happy
Thank you.
holidays.